The lake didn't murmur when it started to rise. No alarms, no shouts, just water slinking over fences, engulfing patios, and seeping into 86 luxury homes like it was staking its claim. I stood frozen, not fleeing, not dialing for help, just watching. I'm Lucas Harper, and I knew this wasn't nature's whim. You don't build on a lake's edge and expect it to bow. They tried to erase my family's shoreline, even sent cops to force me out. But this lake remembers its roots, and it fights back. Where are you reading this from? Drop a comment, this one's going to spark debate. It began one morning with bulldozers roaring like a storm in my backyard. I stumbled outside, still in pajamas, and saw her, Evelyn Shaw, in a crisp suit, heels digging into the earth, clipboard clutched like a weapon. She'd quietly bought the land by my Lakeme family's lake and started building 86 luxury homes without a whisper to anyone. Spotting me, she flashed a smug grin and called over the noise. "This is our land now, Lucas. We do what we please." Her nerve hit harder than the dawn racket. Dust choked the air. The lake turned muddy with dead fish, and my family's haven, peaceful for decades, was being torn apart. My neighbor's dog wailed, and faces peered from windows, echoing my shock. I tried diplomacy, bringing homemade cookies, hoping to reason. Evelyn barely glanced at them, her eyes glinting coldly. "Lucas, don't be naive. This lake's ours, one way or another." Her tone, so sure, hinted at some hidden edge, maybe a legal trick or a long-brewing scheme. I stood there, cookies in hand, feeling like a fool as she turned to snap at her workers. Rage simmered that night, the kind that makes your fists tremble. I rummaged through Dad's old files, deeds, tax records, blueprints, searching for a way to fight. In a rusty metal box, I found it. Dad's 1970s lake blueprints, with a note in his neat script: emergency flood valve. Use only if lake is threatened. Opens underground springs. A diagram detailed a valve at the lake's bottom, linked to hidden water channels. Dad always said this lake was the area's heart, with ways to protect itself. I thought it was just poetic talk, but this was Reala's secret flood system no one knew about. Not the HOA, not the city, maybe not even Dad's crew. Holding those blueprints, I felt a surge of power. Evelyn had plans to wipe me out, but Dad had seen this coming. The HOA's war intensified fast. No trespassing signs popped up every 10 feet, like a fortress wall. Thick, official-looking letters arrived daily, each more threatening. They built 8-foot barriers, cutting off my childhood path to the lake. The air stank of concrete and twisted metal, and they watched me constantly, cameras hunting for any misstep. Then came a $8,000 fine for my dad's koi pond, labeled a community hazard. I laughed, but it was grim. They were playing a ruthless game. Neighbors I'd shared holidays with turned cold, swayed by Evelyn's lies. I felt like an outcast in my own home. Then, a lifeline, a note slipped under my door and signed in block letters. "This project's illegal. Check blueprint approval 12. You're not alone." Taped to it was a torn HOA charter page, highlighting section 12.4. Construction must comply with federal water overlays. Someone inside was on my side, but who? And why stay hidden? I fought back, documenting their wrongs: photos, videos, logs of illegal dumping. At the next HOA meeting, I slammed a folder of evidence on the table, silencing the room. I exposed their missing permits and backroom deals. Evelyn's face went white, her smirk gone. "Lucas, you're out of line," she shrieked, calling security to haul me out. I yelled, "I'm a citizen, and this project's destroying our environment." The room held its breath, unsure if I was a crusader or a lunatic. Then Evelyn went low, cutting my power and water, claiming community maintenance. My neighbor's lights stayed on, though. I boiled snow, showered in icy water, and ate cold cans in the dark, muttering, "They think this'll break me? Keep dreaming." But the isolation clawed at me. Nights were too quiet, my doubts too loud. Then a shift. At a secret HOA meeting tipped off by my anonymous ally board member Frank Collins, Evelyn's staunch supporter, turned on her. His son, an engineer, had seen the plans and warned, "Only an idiot builds this close to a lake without flood controls." Frank demanded safety details, and Evelyn floundered, her poise cracking as board members pressed harder. Later, Frank handed me an old survey map, marked in red, "Original floodplain." unfit for high-density housing. That night, a jittery stranger knocked. "I'm Greg Nolan, ex-HOA tech," he whispered, passing me a folder of evidence-shoddy materials, fake flood reports, memos on dodging inspectors. He'd quit after Evelyn threatened him for refusing to skimp on safety. I had my ammunition, but Evelyn played her trump card. She called the cops to evict me, claiming my family's 40-year-old home was HOA common land. 2 patrol cars rolled up, lights flashing, as she waved fake documents, her voice dripping with fake concern. "He's trespassing, officers." I was floored, stammering, "This is my home." The cops, torn, suggested I relocate temporarily. That was the breaking point. That evening, old Ben, my neighbor, brought soup and a lantern. "Lucas, you sure about this?" he asked, his eyes heavy. He knew about the valve Dad's old friend always did. "Open it, and there's no turning back." I nodded, resolved. On a stormy Thursday, rain pounding and wind howling, I suited up in diving gear, grabbed a waterproof flashlight, and took tools to the lake. Lightning lit the 86 house towers of greed. I dove into the murky water, silt in my teeth, heart racing. The valve, a rusted beast, was right where Dad's blueprint said. It resisted, unyielding, until my shoulder burned and my lungs screamed. With a groan, it gave way, and water surged from underground springs. The lake roared to life, unstoppable. I surfaced, watching from my kitchen as the flood took hold. By noon, chaos reigned, equipment sank, workers ran, basements drowned. Evelyn arrived, ghost pale, screaming, "This isn't natural." But the water kept coming, relentless, turning her dream into a swamp. Police arrived, and Ben played his part, blaming the storm. Frank stepped up, declaring, "This is what happens when you build in a flood zone without drainage." I warned them. Evelyn's accusations crumbled. The news erupted. 86 luxury homes flooded. Aerial shots showed a drowned wasteland, losses in millions. Insurers called it natural causes, leaving investors furious. By day 3, investigations tore into Evelyn's project. Violations stacked up, ignored flood zones, bribed officials, wetland destruction. Her empire fell apart. Fines crushed her, assets sold, cars repossessed. The HOA dissolved, land auctioned off. Neighbors came back, apologetic, with casseroles. Ben told reporters I'd fought to save the lake Dad built. I didn't celebrate. The losses, jobs, investments, environmental scars are in a win, just justice. I used lawsuit money to restore the lake, hiring crews to clear debris, planting trees, restocking fish. At a lake rebirth event, a kid held a sign, "Thank you for saving the lake." I told her, Dad didn't make the water, but he gave it a heart. Nature surged back, wildflowers, birds, clear water. The lake didn't just heal, it remembered Dad's design. Secretly, I dove to the valve, easing it shut to restore balance, letting experts call it a miracle. I became the lake's hidden pulse, turning the final bolt as it clicked, like Dad saying, "That'll do." Reporters asked about miracles. I showed my algae-stained gloves and said, "I believe in torque." They dubbed me the Lake Guardian, tying me to Dad's legacy. He taught me to fix things right, no shortcuts. The valve waits below, a silent protector. If greed returns, they'll learn about floods the hard way. Justice isn't loud, it's pressure, applied right. Where are you reading from? Fought an HOA? Drop a comment, this one's worth a fight.